He said that what they wanted to do was like a boss that was really well guarded by like tripwires and mines, and you actually had to like diffuse them. Like there were like animations and mini games on like diffusion and lock
You gotta do a
picking.
medium difficulty Sudoku 6 times before you get to fight the busted boss. When you have players that are creeping up behind you completely silent.
Yes! What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Pogcast, a show that's dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. Sorry, I'm distracted because I have your stream up and I saw everything change right as I started the intro. I'm one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam.
Yeah, and I am an audio engineer, like tweaking the knobs and the dials.
Oh, jeez. What's up,
in
man?
real time, bro? I went to the fucking eclipse.
Oh my god, I saw that, bro. Was it life-changing?
Actually, kind of, yeah.
I mean, it seems incredible.
Dude, okay, I was kind of like, nah, that's going to be interesting. And then I'm like, oh, I really should probably go.
Yeah.
Especially for like the Flat Earth fucking documentary.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's like relevant. And,
yep.
And then I saw one of the Smarter Everyday videos where he's basically like, just go. He's like, just trust me. And I'm kind of like, yeah, okay, I guess it'll be cool. It's just like a reason to go. And it's one of those things that you kind of don't get it until you go. And then it's like,
yeah, I believe it.
It's as close. And we actually talked about this on the Patreon. It's the closest I think I've probably ever had to like a truly transcendent experience.
Yeah.
I can't, like, I feel so bad because there's so many people that are like, yeah, I saw the eclipse. It's really cool. I was able to see like the whole 20-30%, eclipse. And I'm like, that's
nothing.
That's like you went into McDonald's and all you ordered was a Coke and you're like, yeah, McDonald's is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now McDonald's is terrible, so that's a bad analogy.
I was gonna say it's a great analogy because McDonald's is great.
But it's just like it's like it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Bro, first of all, have you seen anything about it? Have you ever experienced it before? Have you?
I mean, I've seen a bunch of stuff about it. I went outside. We got like 70%. So like I went outside. We had the glasses and stuff, but
I mean, so basically, you just saw like the circle with like the thing.
Yeah, like the sun being like a crescent moon as opposed to the moon being a crescent moon. Yeah.
What I experienced in like the path of totality was like, it's the craziest thing having like it get dark while the sun isn't in the sky.
Yeah.
It's like this weird, it's like if you were to go in and start color correcting the universe.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's like blue and orange, but like dark. And then you're watching it, and all of a sudden it's like crescent moon kind of thing, cool. And then poof, there's a fucking hole torn in the universe, bro.
Dude.
I literally cried, dude. I had tears. I was like, holy fuck.
That's so sick. Oh.
And the saddest part is that like no camera, unless you have like a super uber camera and you have like everything set up, it just doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, you can't just like whip out your phone and be like, look what I saw. Like,
yeah, no, I recorded on my phone and it just gets blown out and everything like that. But when it's like Gargantua, the fucking black hole in Interstellar, it's like I was looking at that.
That's so sick.
And you could literally see like there was like a solar prominence on like the bottom half, and then like you can actually see like with the naked eye, you can see like the little bumps of like the craters of the moon, like reflecting the different light. And after a couple minutes goes by, it's like poof, you just get like hit with like all of a sudden like, oh shit, glasses on,
That's
it was incredible.
Sick. Yeah.
And the temperature goes down like 15 degrees, bro.
Oh,
I was like,
that's
it was
wild.
like 65 degrees, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm fucking freezing because all the fucking sunlight is being blocked.
Dude, that's so wild. That's so sick.
Yeah, I will never miss that again for the rest of my life if I have a chance.
Yeah.
And I suggest that anybody who has a chance to see to be within the path of totality for an eclipse, go.
And like, it's weird because there's like different types of eclipses, right? Like, that's why
there's a lot of different ones.
Yeah, because it's like every year we get an eclipse that we're told won't happen again for another 7 million years, but every year we get one of those. And to people like me that don't understand the difference, it's like we get one every year. But like they're different because it's like how far away. Because didn't we get one recently where the moon was on the right axis, but it was a little closer to us? So there was like a ring around of the sun. Like when it was in the middle, you could still see a little bit of the sun. Like the sun was slightly bigger.
That's kind of what it was this time.
Okay.
I don't know all of the different like variations.
Yeah.
I want to. I just got to pull up. It's so fucking incredible, dude. To see what it looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was watching. This is a guy I've been watching, Red's Rhetoric. Just to have it like,
yeah, like
just it goes from the middle of the day,
yeah, to just like dark.
You just see the little tiny sliver, little tiny sliver, little tiny sliver. It's like nighttime, bang, dude, and it's like,
that's wild.
And you can't. I can't describe to you what it's like to have the entire. I could see Venus. I could see all the stars. Like, dude, it was like this crazy experience where all of a sudden, like, the animals start acting different because they're like, "What the fuck?" Like, everything thinks it's nighttime for like these 3 minutes. It's just so insane, dude. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
When do you ever see something like that?
Oh, I mean, literally never.
But it's really hard to explain how seeing that in the sky with literally nothing else other than like the stars. Anyway, so I'm
think
just,
about
like,
that happening
out.
Like 1,000 years ago.
You would shit your pants.
Yeah, and you would just stare at it for all 10 minutes and just burn your retinas. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, how would you know? Imagine just existing one day and that happens and you're like, God is smiting us. You know what I mean? And then everyone in your village goes blind and you really think that that's what happened.
Dude, I'd be like, well, this is the end.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's crazy. That's so sick.
Speaking of, I've been on a binge, dude. I recently killed a whole bunch of content. First of all, I watched Three Body Problem.
Yeah, that show was pretty good.
Did you watch it?
Mm-hmm.
The whole first season?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, it was good.
And so I'm already looking forward.
Fascinating, like science stuff. Like I liked that kind of aspect of it.
Yeah.
Some of it felt kind of like too TV showish, but like a lot of the stuff it made you think about, like science and travel and all. Yeah, fascinating stuff.
It's crazy how fast it moves.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, exactly.
I obviously don't want to spoil anything, but it's like within like 20 minutes of like one episode, you've gone from like discovering this incredible
100%.
thing about like
100%,
you know, about aliens, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, we're now progressing 30 years in technology in 25 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But yeah, it's a very good show. I'd recommend it.
Was good, yeah.
And then I finally watched Dune. I haven't watched. I think Dune 2 I can stream April 16th, so 5 days.
What'd you think?
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I know that I hyped it up too much because I love it so much. Like I knew that I talked about it too much that there's no way you could go in blind. But
it was so completely different than I expected. Like,
that's fascinating.
It was more. This probably like will diminish it in a way, but I don't mean like quality wise. Although I did enjoy like Rogue One.
Oh, yeah.
It was closer
100%.
to that than I expected. I don't know why. I just thought it was fucking sand people on, you know, but there's so much more like sci-fi and other shit there. I just didn't know. I thought it was sci-fi. a bunch of people in the desert. Like,
you're really lucky to be able to watch the first and second one so close together. So like legitimately wait to even formulate your opinion on the first movie until you've seen the second one. And the fact that you can watch it in only 5 days, like I highly, highly, highly recommend you watch it. The second one as soon as you can. I watched the first one again the night before I went because it's just like,
I'm excited.
I mean, it is literally just like we are picking up where we left off and we are keeping this story going. So if it's like, it was like a year and a half in between, you're like, who's the you know what I mean? So if you just watched it, watch 2 and then.
So 2, it seems as if people are saying 2 is better than 1.
Okay, so that is the sentiment. I love exposition. I love story. I love character building. If there's a reason to care about those characters, the worst is when something feels slow and exposition heavy for the sake of it. And I'm like, we're wasting time. Or when the exposition takes place when like two characters, like when a character is telling another character a bunch of information that character would obviously know. So like,
you're my dad.
Yeah, exactly. The criticism of 1 was that it was very exposition heavy, very story heavy, and very just, people talking. But like, yeah, episode 2 is like, 2 is like Empire Strikes Back. I mean, it's like, so most people will say that they like the second one better. I love the first one, and I really just see them as one movie. Like in my brain, it's so directly after. Like it's effectively just one 6-hour movie, but the second part is like, but so like if you look at it that way, like imagine stopping a real Interstellar halfway through. You'd be like, that was good. And you would say the second half was better, but only because of what happened in the first half. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
it's basically exactly that, where it's like you're like, oh shoot. So yeah, it's that's exciting. I'm so excited you're watching it.
I'm looking forward to it because I really enjoyed it. It was totally different than what I expected. And I like a bunch of the actors. I feel like so many of these actors and actresses are like new. They're like kind of new to me, and like that. I don't know their names, but like the dad, wasn't the dad in like Rogue One?
He was in Star Wars. He was what's his name, Poe or something? Oscar Isaac. Yeah, he was in the Star Wars movies.
And then the mom was in Silo.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and then you got Aquaman as like his buddy.
I never watched Aquaman, but
okay, Jason Momoa.
But I know, I literally only know about him because of the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was great.
That was something. So like when I was going into watching the first one, my legitimate concern was that it has too many famous people. Like sometimes when there's too many famous actors, it's just like it's a competition for like who's going to win the Oscar or whatever. But this movie felt like everybody just wanted to, like, Denis Villeneuve is at that status now officially, especially as a result, where like famous actors will work for him for basically free because like you know what I mean? Like Martin Scorsese, like it's just people want to be directed by him. And I didn't feel like anybody overacted. Like the Skarsgård guy that played the Baron, the big dude, he did so good. Dave Bautista, the WWE wrestler that's super famous for playing Drax in Guardians, playing the son or his nephew, the main Harkonnen bad guy, the like bald.
Oh yeah.
That WWE wrestler turned Guardians of the Galaxy, turned freaking Harkonnen leader, and he did so good. Like it was so good.
Huh.
Yeah.
Is there going to be like a third or fourth, or
the third one got like
the end?
No, the third one got greenlit, and that will most likely be the end. There's like 6 books, but the story of Paul Atreides essentially ends after the second book. And these 2 movies were just adapting the first book, and they just greenlit adapting the second book into a movie, which I will assume will be 1, maybe 2 though. But yeah, so there's even more after Dune Part 2. And they're HBO's making a TV show about the Bene Gesserit. I'm super excited about that.
They're making a TV show, like a mini series.
Yep. I love.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I love. And then if you like those movies, you should watch every Denis Villeneuve movie ever. They're all phenomenal. Blade Runner 2049, Arrival, Prisoners.
I have seen Arrival.
That was a great sci-fi movie. That was a
I liked
great
Arrival.
sci-fi movie.
Yeah, I really
what
liked
else
Arrival.
did he do? Did he do Sicario? He might have done Sicario. Anyways, W director. He's crushing it. But yeah, hell yeah. I'm glad you watched it. That's so sick.
Indeed.
Yes.
So yeah, what's been going on in the rest of the world?
So, in video game land, in Tarkov land, actually quite a bit to talk about. We got weirdly.
I heard. I just uninstalled Tarkov today because I needed to make hard drive space.
I mean, you should keep it there. Keep it uninstalled. But we did get a surprise patch. 5-hour downtime. Everyone's like, oh, it is. And it's patch 14.5, which generally they keep bigger patches to like 0.0, 0.5, 0.0, 0.5. You know what I mean? So we got 0.5. So I was like, oh, cool. 14.5. And we got some cool stuff, man. So one, started the iteration of the season system. Season change implies a change in the visual aesthetic of the locations, ambient sound, and weather effects. Early spring will be available in this update. So it's not just spring, summer, winter, fall. They've actually broken it into like, we're in early spring. Have you seen any footage of anybody playing recently?
I saw you play for about 4 seconds today, and it looked like I saw you running around in snow.
Yeah. So this is actually like a huge like W. Like this is really cool. It looks like Fallout 3 when you go out into the wasteland. All the vegetation is dead, but 90% of the snow is gone. And you get these pockets where like the snow was deep, where there's still snow and you still get the crunchy snow sound. But most of the maps, the snow is melted and like the trees are all dead. The bushes are still dead, but they're like brown. So we've only ever seen like super lush green or covered in snow. And so this is like a perfect in between. I imagine in like a month or two, they'll go to like mid or late spring where like flowers and like the bushes and stuff like that will start to grow back. But it's sick. Like it just makes it feel so fresh and it looks so good. Bro, let me tell you though, the new sound for walking, because it's like the ground is like soft and wet because the snow is melting. Brother, this is like the only thing. You know the old like 90s, I don't know what they're called, not windbreakers, but like thin, like if you're like arm and like side, like
like windbreaker.
Yeah. So imagine you put on windbreaker pants and somebody taped a microphone to like your gooch in between your legs, and then they put you on a treadmill. When you're running, it's like it's the craziest sound in the world, bro. I don't know how this got past like QA or something, but it's crazy, dude. It was hilarious for like 3 days, and now it's like, bro, this is so weird. But that's funny. But it's only when you're outside, because you get squishy ground. When you go inside, it's like everything's completely normal. Dude, it's so funny. But overall, the season is really cool. And the fact that they've broken it up into like, it's going to transition from winter to spring. It's going to transition from spring to summer. It's just cool, man. Oh, and the ambient, I feel like this is a little bit more contentious, but like the ambient noises now are completely different. There's like wind that will vary in intensity. Like sometimes you like hear the wind. There's like dogs barking, birds chirping, frogs croaking. Like it's wild. And it's contextual. Like I was at a place, I was in like the basement of a place. Like I walked down into the basement of a building, and all of a sudden I heard like water dripping and like pipes creaking and stuff. But you only hear that when it's like below. So it was, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I don't mind it. I like the birds. They make me happy. Birds chirping in the background. But they completely just redid the environmental like sounds and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. So the season system, pretty dope.
Can you? I just kind of like just thinking about if I was an engineer on that team and they were like, we're gonna implement these new like squishy sounds, and I'm like,
why are we doing anything with sound?
Yeah, dude. I mean, and because nothing got better as far as sound, we just have squishy pants and wind blowing and dogs barking now. But it's cool. They added, this was a surprise, they added the BTR to woods. So now the BTR drives all around woods in a circle, and you can take a ride, you can send, it's a dead drop, you can send loot to your stash, or you can pay for covering fire, just like on streets. And 2 of the extracts on woods, okay, you know how you can spawn like right at the like abandoned brick building in the corner? That's also an extract. If you spawn on the other side, you can extract there, whatever.
I like the railroad track.
That extraction, they like opened it up and like put a bunch of new assets there because the BTR drives through there. Like it goes out of the map and then comes back in a different way so that it can like be a circle, so they didn't have to like make new roads or anything. So like it's cool. And it's funny because the only thing they say in the patch notes is we added the BTR to woods. They did like a mini woods redo. All over woods, they added new like hard cover, like Scav House, like, you know, the Scav House near ZB14 where everybody goes to kill scavs. There's tons of like sandbags and like hard cover there now. It's really cool. And like at the checkpoint, they added some stuff. They added some stuff in lumber. Like they like touched up, nothing crazy, but they like went through and touched up woods, and it was like, oh shoot.
Weird.
Yeah, it's cool. Okay. So that in the BTR on woods, which is pretty dope. They added the second queue for ground zero. So now if you're level 21 or above, you'll be in that queue. And if you're level 20 or below, you'll still only queue ground zero with level 20 people.
Oh, wait, I thought they had that already.
No, they said they were going to do it a while ago, so we knew it was coming, but they just implemented it. And apparently they like buffed the loot, and they added Kolentai as a boss to ground zero, only in the higher queue, and they increased the difficulty of the scavs. They allow for airdrops now. If at least one player in the group is over level 20, the whole group goes to the higher, which makes sense, right? When you scav there now, it's basically random where you're going to go, which I still think is weird. They should just only put player scavs on the high queue one, not the lower one. But
oh, yeah.
They added, like, you can now get dailies and weeklies on ground zero, which makes sense. They added ground zero to a shooter born in heaven, the guide, peacekeeping mission, and a bunch of stuff. But it's cool. It became... it was super fun for the first few days because it was like the new factory, because it was like factory out, but outdoors. It's a small map. It's really small compared to the other ones, but it's like bigger than factory, but there's a lot more PMCs. Like factory has a maximum of like 5 or 6. This is like 12 PMCs. It's a really small map and it's really linear. Like there's one road that goes down and there's buildings on each side. And then there's the underground. But it was like hot PvP, like small map, instant action, like everybody was spam queuing it. It was like really fun for the first few days. The only problem is the exact criticism I gave of ground zero when the wipe happened, which is that there are too many players and the spawns are too close together. I mean, you can literally, like the other day I was soloing it because I was just trying to have fun. I literally spawned, ran 5 feet, fell over dead, re-queued, got the spawn where the guy killed me, ran 5 feet, killed a guy. It was the same. Like it happened to me, and then I did it to the next guy. It's crazy. The spawns are so close together, and because everybody was playing, they were just populating every spawn, and it's like there's just too many people, or they need to spawn more people underground or something like that. But they did make some sound adjustments. They brought the rain back. They updated the ambient sound to match the current season. Wind volume now depends on the strength of the wind. Updated indoor ambient rain sounds. But this is the first like sound change that's actually really good in a while. They added smoother transitions between indoor and outdoor audio. And
saw that.
Added a smoother transitions through, like when you're walking past doors and windows. It's literally perfect. Like whoever did this nailed it. Like especially when it's raining, because rain is such a strong ambient, like 10 feet away from the door, it's just 3%, 5%, 15%, 30%. As you get closer, it's so good.
I saw a clip for I think it was that
good.
friendly guy.
Yeah.
On Twitter, and was like, well done.
Props to the guy who did that, because it works in all the places, all the doors, all the indoor, outdoor. I'm like, dude, please let this be like your trial run for like staircase, because it's essentially the same thing, right? You need a gradient of how much you're hearing from floor 1 and floor 2. As you go up, it should slowly shift, and like, please let that be the freaking trial run for staircases. But it was just a little thing that worked. And I feel like we should call out when shit works.
Golf clap.
Yeah, a little golf clap. Little golf clap, because they did not address the silent crouch. They did not address the binaural audio pop. They did, so just little golf clap. But
yeah, but those aren't that big of a deal.
yeah.
Actually, you know what? Okay, wait. We haven't had an episode since the last episode. Because 2 episodes ago is when we had and
then we did the conversation with Mara. Yeah.
So to update everybody, I don't think we
talked about it on the PP. Yeah.
So as a quick little get everybody up to date. A day or 2 after the podcast where we had the conversation about, where I was like, grilling Jesse, like, are you sure? Like, is this really, whatever. I was basically giving him a hard time about quote unquote the state of Tarkov,
but how it could be in a bad state
from the perspective of like, I said I don't know how many times I caveated everything with like, I literally haven't played the game, so I just want to know like what you mean. And of course, like
the comments,
I looked at like 4 of the comments and was like, yeah, I'm probably not going to want to read the comments on this one. I had a giant outtake. And my take was,
tell me more.
Tell me more. I want to understand. One of the comments was literally, it was basically saying like, giving me shit for trying to understand. Imagine in 2024 asking questions to somebody and trying to understand. Can you fucking imagine?
I don't even want to go to the comments to find that one, but that one made me like literally bust out laughing out loud, because it really was like typical Veritas out here just trying to understand. And it was like, wait, what?
But
that's a bad thing.
Yeah, so I had said that I hadn't seen any of those issues, so of course I couldn't know couldn't know the extent of them. Basically was saying, send me clips, whatever. I was sitting playing chess one night and all of a sudden I get a DM from Uneventful that was like, 2 Veritas from Jesse kind of thing, where it was like you
running around dorms, getting killed by some dudes crab walking, and then you killing a guy on labs. Like, I came into your stream right after I watched the clip to go be like LOL, and I witnessed you crab walking, killing a dude in labs. And so, and I saw like one other clip or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. Like, like you could see how that's just like annoying. 8 hours of that being every fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, basically, like, I just wanted to come back to that and basically say, like, yeah, I mean,
like
I get it.
Like, you get it. Yeah. For sure. I had a raid today. I was on Shoreline, and I ran across Skybridge from west to east, and I'm like running down the 2nd floor of east, and I literally hear one footstep. I hear a clip. And so I bail into the closest room next to me, and I don't hear anything. And I'm like crabbing, like, because I don't want to stay still, because if he, so I'm kind of like circle strafing crabbing, and I was like, chat, like, this is it. I was like, I genuinely, because it was such a combination of audio things. I heard a step, but because I'm in the resort, I genuinely don't know if he's 1st floor, if he's on this floor with me, if he's 3rd floor, or if he's on the roof. And then right when I was like, right when I was about to be like, did I really hear a guy, dude? I hear him click his laser, like change his flashlight setting. And I was like, okay, there's a guy here. So I like stem up. I was so unsure of where he was. I jump off the balcony and decide to full clear. I jump off the balcony. I full clear 1. I go up to 2. I full clear 2. I go up to 3. I full clear 3. I go back down to 2. I full clear 2. We haven't heard a single footstep again. Run up to the roof. He was on the roof the whole time. I killed him. He came into chat and he said, who said something, but it was cool. Like, we were both cool. I was like, dude, it is what it is, man. Like, you know what I mean? He was like, yeah, dude. He was like, I was just crabbing up there the whole time. Like, this is what I asked him. I said, were you moving around? And he was like, yeah, I was basically like crabbing around up there the whole time. I didn't hear anything. And I said, what did it sound like I was doing? And he was like, it sounded like you were just running back and forth on 3rd floor the whole time. And I was like, okay. I went 1st floor, 2nd floor, 3rd floor, 2nd floor, 3rd floor, roof. And he thought I was just running back and forth on the 3rd floor. I didn't hear him do anything. And I ended up killing him. So it was like, I wasn't mad at him at all for crabbing. I was like, I get it, dude. Like, this is where we are. But it was as soon as it happened, I was like, chat. I was like, this is what we're talking about. I put myself in the awkward, like, I put myself in the worst position because I wanted to fight, right? Like, so I was like, okay, I'll stim up and run around. But the right thing to do for me would have just been to like crab v crab, right? You know what I mean? And then but we never would have found each other in the resort because he was on the roof, dude. So
it's like you either have to be bored,
yeah,
or you have to flip a coin between having like pain and suffering, or being on the winning end of a shit experience.
Exactly.
Those are the 3 options you get.
And it was such a merging of a bunch of things because it was like the resort audio plus the crab. But then what was also interesting was, you know, when I got the people that were mad at me in the comments of that podcast were the ones where people like think I'm like the whole conversation of like, the silent crouch is intentional. It's tactical. You guys said you wanted, silent audio. And I explained, really ad nauseum in that episode where I was like, okay, but not that. And this was a great example because he was crouched walking around, right? Like full kit on. And I couldn't hear him. I can't hear anything. But from 2nd floor, 3rd floor, the roof, I hear him click a button. And that's the inconsistency that I'm talking about. Like, that doesn't feel good. You might want a way to move tactically, but the way to move tactically should be an all-encompassing way to move tactically where you can maybe ADS a little bit slower, or but the fact that I can hear you freaking pick your nose through 8 floors of a building, but not hear you slow creep when you're like residing in my butthole, that's what I'm talking about. It's that inconsistency that makes the silent crouch bug feel bad because it then promotes people to stay still and do nothing.
So
yeah,
I understand a little bit more now what you're talking about there, because so you might see what happened there and your takeaway might be not hearing the guy was the problem. When in reality, see, like for me, if it would be a better experience if you never heard each other at all at any point.
I agree.
Because then you would be assuming that there would be someone anywhere.
Yes.
And you wouldn't be looking for them. You wouldn't have the game be changing your play for some nebulous, confusing, questionable thing because the game is forcing you out. I completely agree.
That's exactly it. Both of us would have been better off if we hadn't heard each other. He heard me walking on 1st floor as if I was on the roof with him, and I heard him accidentally take one misstep. He took one step that wasn't crouched.
Yeah.
I bet he just didn't hit C in time. He took one step. That's what I heard. And then he hears me crossing Skybridge, and then it's a stalemate for 40 minutes, right? But if you were on the roof of a building, you wouldn't hear somebody walking around on the 2nd floor. And if I was on the second floor, I wouldn't have heard him clicking his laser up top. So we both would have just been living our own lives. And then if he was like, I don't see anybody, I'm going to come down. And then we meet each other, then we hear each other, and we're close enough that when we hear each other, we actually have to fight instead of just crabbing up. That would have been better. And then the person who was moving more tactically in that moment, if I was running around third floor and he was like coming down the stairs carefully
Checking
with his gun up and he clicked me,
yeah.
I would have been like, I was the one running around like an idiot. But it's because he hears me from 100 meters away. I hear him from 100 meters away. Basically, that's it. What's the incentive to close the distance? The distance closer is like the dice roll more often than not the loser. And so if the distance closer is more often than not the loser and you hear each other 140 meters away, what is the game? No one's closing the distance because that's purely the disadvantage. But like I've been playing DayZ with Trey and like you don't hear like it was really uncomfortable to me how close somebody is before you hear them. But that forces an action. Like if you're both walking around and you hear each other, you can't just crab. If you see somebody far away, then you're like, ooh, I have an upper hand here because I see him. He doesn't hear me. Now I'm going to make my move. Oh, and by the way, because you don't hear people super close, if I do see somebody far away, I feel super in control to like run and like make a flank on him because I don't think he's going to hear me from 150 meters away. And then as I get close. So like playing DayZ was like really an eye opener because I was like, the engagement distance is such that if you're relying on audio, by the time you hear somebody, you have to do something about them. So if you want to play tactically, rely on vision. Scan the area. I love the little squint thing they have when you press middle mouse button and it zooms in a little bit. I love that junk. You know what I mean? Because then if you gain a visual contact, then you feel confident to like move and run and make a move and close some distance or run away. Like if you don't want PvP and you see somebody 40 meters away from you, you feel super confident to turn and run. You're not worried that they're going to hear you get a binaural pop and shoot you. You can get away. So it's like whether you're a PvP chat or not, you're confident to do what you want to do. And I like it. So yeah, poor Jesse really hasn't played a PC FPS with proper audio. I really haven't. Like I really haven't. And it freaks me out when I play a different game. Anyways, that was all an aside from, that was like the update from the conversation we had. I'm sure you've seen some of this stuff. And I know a lot of people got really like, not butthurt, but grumpy about it because they're like, we should have had this in the game 7 years ago. I couldn't agree more, but better late than never. Added the damage and penetration stats to the ammo inspector screen. W. When hovering over the penetration stat, you see the penetration chance against certain armor classes. W.
So can I just like delete Battle Buddy and move on with my life?
Yeah. W. Did you see the skill menu interface?
No.
Okay. So when you hover over like a skill like strength, the dialog box is 5 times bigger and it says how you level it, what it does. It tells you what your level is and breaks down the percentage for everything. So it's like if I'm level 43 endurance, it will literally say you level endurance by running or like by traveling distance underweight. Endurance can help you with these things. And at level 43 endurance, my stamina is plus 19%. My jump height is plus blah, blah, blah. Like whatever it is. I don't remember exactly what endurance, but you know what I mean? So that dialog box is incredible. Tells you what the skill is, how you level it, and tells you what your current bonuses are for your level. Huge W. And they added, you know how it's like you're level 43 and you're like, whatever, 50% of the way to level. If you're in a raid, any points you get will be bright green, that little bit of the bar. So you know exactly how much you got in this raid. So that was like, like so good. So
seems like it was designed by someone who thought about what are our goals
100%.
for this feature.
Yeah. So good. Like if you're a new player, like that's so good. The ability to view a player's profile from their dog tag, which is nice. And added the ability to report a player on their profile page. So, which is nice because the only way to report a cheater is if they killed you. You know what I mean? So like, I actually killed a cheater the other day. I killed a dude on interchange. I was like doing my thing. Dude rolls up, is just they run up. So I hear them, stands completely out in the open and takes a shot at me. And I literally I'm like zoomed in 8x. I drag across the screen, click once, and then run away. And I spend 5 minutes looking for the dude, but I killed him on my click. And I was like, oh, so I went to loot him. It was on interchange. In his backpack, he had 3 GPUs and a LEDX and a bunch of other high tier loot in his backpack. And I was like, oh, shoot. So I took all that junk and sold it. But,
hell yeah.
So like
dude.
now I could have like reported that guy. Look at his stats, 40 KD.
Did you see his? So did you looked at his stats or
yeah, it was sus. So it was like everything was there.
It said you killed him.
Mm-hmm. Headshot.
I was like, there's a world where you didn't actually hit him and he got banned.
No, that would have been crazy. It did say I killed him, like on the dog tag and everything. I think the only reason why I freaking made it was just I clicked like in the right spot. You know what I mean? It was wild. So that's nice. Optimize the algorithm of AI searching for cover. The only thing I've actually noticed is now more often AI is just running into a wall. Knight from the Goons, so Knight from the Goons pushed us up to the resort from the weather station. I forget who I was playing with, but they was in the resort, and I kept hearing running, and so I was on another part of the resort, and I peeked out, and Knight had basically locked on to whoever my teammate was, like, hey, I'm in the resort, and was just running into the wall in the resort trying to like reach him. And so I just like bop, 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 bop. So I don't know, optimize the algorithm of searching for cover, Lamau. But change the lighting inside the Ultra Mall on interchange. Okay.
Oh God, the fucking lighting on interchange again, huh?
Okay. So the lighting on interchange is not where I want it, and I don't know that I would call it good. I think, and don't start typing in the comments. If you're an interchange main, I love you. You have Stockholm syndrome, okay? The lighting is better, but it's not good. Does that make sense? So it's like, this is absolutely a step in the right direction. In my opinion, it's not where it should be. But if you played a lot of interchange, you're probably like, you've putting sunglasses on because it's too bright. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But here's why it matters, Veritas. In the past, how have they changed the lighting on interchange? It's essentially a knob, a gain knob, right? And you're outside and the skybox is white and you need sunglasses from the floor. But then when you're inside the mall,
dark and foggy.
Yeah. But when you're inside the mall, it's kind of okay. But then when we say it's too bright outside, they just turn the gain knob down. Inside's too dark. Whatever they changed actually has to do with lighting tech. So it's a huge win in the sense that it's finally addressing like how lighting propagates and stuff like that. The unfortunate thing is where it looks better is where there's the most light. Like it looks better around the skylights. It looks better near the main windows. It looks better in the underground where you have like light coming in from the things. But kind of like deep in the mall where some of those really dark stores, like I could take some screenshots. Like I could go around interchange right now and show you a screenshot where you'd say that doesn't look any different. I could show you a screenshot where you'd be like, yeah, that looks a little bit better. But I could also show you a screenshot where you were like, wow, they fixed interchange lighting. It looks great. But
so you're saying it looks better near
light. Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
It makes sense. Yes. So I still think the package needs work because I think that like stores that are close enough to skylights like still are really dark, like really, really dark.
Why is interchange different than every other fucking map?
I don't
understand.
know, bro.
Why?
Because
why
the
is there
mall
shouldn't
on
be like a different
streets
algorithm?
Is crazy good. But I will definitely say it is better, and it is the most important thing is not how much it's better, is that it's better the right way. Like they didn't just turn the freaking gain up. So the interchange lighting looks cool. Like it's better. I was playing Interchange the other day, and it was actually like super duper fun. So definitely better. Few of the bug fixes, nothing too crazy. Notably, not addressing the silent crouch, not addressing the binaural pop, not addressing the packet loss issue. So like all the things. So like this was a patch that really served to drive home the point I said on that podcast 2 weeks ago, where I was like, every new thing they're adding is a huge W. It's what they're not adding or not fixing that make the game feel like awful. You know what I mean? And so this was that. Every single thing in this patch was a W. The season was really cool. The BTR on Woods was a super welcome surprise. All the UI stuff is phenomenal. The interchange lighting, but it's like, but there are issues that are so much worse than those things right now that the player base is like begging you to fix. And so I think that was kind of the thing. So it was like, it's hard because I want to be like, yo, this patch is a ginormous W, but like nobody thinks the state of the game is better because the BTR's on Woods, right? You know what I mean? Like, or because the snow is melted. So W patch, but you know, that's that. So yeah. Now that being said, so that was the patch. What also happened this week was Pestily posting a video. He did a while ago, he asked Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, what are your questions? I'm going to sit down with Nikita. He posted that conversation. And it was really interesting. Some really interesting things. Before we do that, though, I do want to take a quick second and thank the sponsor for this episode, and that is Athletic Greens and their AG1. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre and probiotics, and more, but it's a powerful, healthy habit that is also powerfully simple. Just one scoop mixed in water once a day, every day. So AG1 has been really cool. I personally started using it a little bit over a year ago, and really actually like noticed feeling better. It's not like a healing ointment. It's not going to cure you of all your disease, but for me, somebody that was just feeling down in where my diet was and really actually feeling just like I don't move as much. I used to like be on my feet all the time for work, and now I'm obviously on my butt all the time for work. And so really starting to feel that circle of like not really doing anything physical and not really eating well. And then I don't do anything physical and not eating well and just feeling that. At first,
sounds familiar.
Yeah. At first I started I bought 8 different things like vitamins and magnesium and like a bunch of stuff to try and help. And then I started taking AG1, and it was nice for the routine of it. It's simple, like literally just one scoop once a day. And then also it helps kind of like consolidate, you know what I mean? I literally wasn't taking 11 pills or whatever, or like this in the morning, that at night, or something like that. So it kind of helped consolidate that. And once again, my personal experience is that I genuinely did start to feel better and just like more energetic and more vibrant. And once again, like they'll even say like, this is not like this just take this and it will make you healthy, but it's like a stepping stone. It's a thing that can be a really simple start that can tackle a lot of things and be really helpful. It's quality product. It's been rigorously tested, and its ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrient density. So it's awesome, and I really enjoy it. And if you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. You can try and get a free 1-year supply. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/pogcast. That is drinkag1.com/pogcast. Check it out. Thank you so much to Athletic Greens and AG1 for sponsoring this episode. Okay, so dude, I'm pissed. I had notes. I watched the Pestily interview with Nikita. I took notes on the whole thing, and my computer like restarted overnight and I lost my notes. So I watched like half of it again and took some notes, and there are some things I remember from the interview, but I was freaking pissed.
Whoops.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're watching this, I highly recommend you just check out the video. It was long and they talk about a lot of things, and I genuinely don't really care to talk about a lot of the things in the thing. I want to talk about a few of the things that stood out, but I don't really want to go over everything. I'm just a little Tarkov out, and I don't want to spiral into negativity personally. So I just kind of want to highlight some things. They are like, we knew this, but they once again communicated that they are like sprinting towards 1.0. It is their focus. He mentioned many times in here that they're cutting features. And when I hear that personally, I think that's a good thing. Like, and it's funny because he did mention, he's like, our focus right now is like finishing the game and creating a polished experience. Take that what you will, right? Like that could have been just a thing he said, but that is the hope, right? Like, do I want unconscious states? Do I want to be able to tie people up and feed them food like in DayZ? Sure, of course, why not? But I don't want them working on that right now. You know what I mean? When there are issues in the game. So they're blitzing towards 1.0, and you know, that's what they're doing. Pest really grilled him on communication. Like, he was like, dudes, like, we haven't got a roadmap this year, last year. Like, and I thought this part, Pestily did a really good job because it's the inconsistencies. Sometimes they do like Tarkov TVs. Last year, they gave us a roadmap and then they updated that roadmap and nobody cared that things moved on the roadmap. We were just happy to have the information. And this year we don't have anything. You know, the roadmap ended and it's been months and we don't have anything. And so it's like the inconsistency.
They probably stopped because they probably weren't getting a ton of positive. They probably were falling for the content creator syndrome of like,
yeah,
they're doing it and everybody's like looking at it and it's like, okay, good, but not really digesting like how good, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense actually. And Nikita mentioned that it's like, he's like, honestly, we just literally get drowned in the work. And Pest was like, I get that, but like something consistent, something monthly, something this, like Pest really was like, the people want to know. And then this will be important for later. Pest was like, it's a two-way street. How do you want us to provide feedback to you the best way possible? We know a lot of content creators do videos, but not everybody can do that. And his answer to that was kind of like, if it's a big enough issue in the community, he's like, we hear it. You know, we read the Reddit posts, we watch the videos. Yeah, just wait, brother. My brother in Christ. Okay. So, but that was kind of like all he said about that. Okay. The questions. And so these were all questions that Pest got from the community. So question, is Tarkov going to be open world? I knew the answer to this, but I'm glad to finally hear him say it. No, like they're not doing that. Which makes sense. There's no way. There's no way. I mean, he kind of said it like, we'd love to do that eventually, but there's just no way that was happening. Here's the thing though. The question was, will the maps be connected? And Nikita was like, yeah, we're going to connect the maps and there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. We're doing a lot of stuff with Terminal. But what I don't know is when he says the maps are connected, does that mean it's map to map travel and I leave customs and like go into a reserve instance? Or does that mean, because they also talked about just like going from 9 maps to like 4 maps or 3 maps where they actually connect, like Lighthouse and Shoreline are like literally right next to each other, and Lighthouse and Shoreline together isn't the size of streets. So when Nikita said the maps will be connected, like I literally watched like Nice Guy and Air Wings and a bunch of people's like breakdown of the Pest interview, and people took that different ways. And I just don't know. I just don't know. And everybody did a good job at being like, listen, we're just, you know, translating what was in a video where the guy said it and he was tired and whatever. So that's interesting. We still don't know if they're going to actually connect the maps together or if it's just map to map travel. He said some interesting stuff about Terminal, about that being like a really story focused. Like they're even considering making that like a single player map. Like you're there for storyline quests. It's not going to be like a map you can queue into or something. Interesting stuff. Some other really standout notable things. They are still planning. This was a surprise. They are still planning to have it where you have a character that wipes seasonally and a character that persists if you want. Like you can play either one or both. I feel
like that makes sense.
I feel like it makes sense, but I would have loved some follow up on like, will they be on separate servers? Like, what will the economy be? Will you be able to share stuff in between those people? Because like, does that make sense? Because in my brain, persistent servers would be cool, but would require like a lot of tinkering. Like, you know what I mean? I like, and I know this sounds weird, but I have like 200 million rubles and we're 3 months in. And so persistent servers, I know if you only have 2 million rubles, you're like, well, you just go play something else. But it's like, you would still have people that had everything playing those servers forever, just accumulating 1 billion rubles. And then eventually you would get to 200 million rubles. And if it never wipes, like what's the, you know what I mean? So I would have assumed that in order for persistent servers to work, there would have to be adjustments to the economy. But then if it's adjustments to the economy, it has to be completely separate servers. And I don't know that they're going to do that, right? So I love the idea, but I just think we still don't know a lot about how that's going to work, right? But he said that wipes will definitely continue past 1.0. He said that they're like really working on a prestige system, which is sick. But once again, the prestige system is interesting because I thought that would have been, I guess that would be more in the persistent than the seasonal. Like if the seasonal one wipes frequently, the persistent one, maybe the prestige system is the incentive to keep the economy and stuff down a little bit. That I don't know. Once again, he was blitzing through these, right? But it's just good to know. Really, all of this is just like high level, top, like 10,000 foot view. I guess it's cool to know they're working on it, but we didn't really get any questions answered. They're still planning on seasonal character and persistent ones. They're still planning on doing wipes. They're really investing in a prestige system, which looks sick. He even said that they're talking about like you have to complete the storyline quests to get like a prestige token where like you have to escape Tarkov and then you can like basically reset the account with the prestige thing. He also said there's going to be several endings to the story, which intrigues me a little bit because we just had that conversation not too long ago where I would love an incentive to go back and do things slightly differently. Yeah. Right? That adds so much replayability. If I go, that was crazy. What if this time I leveled therapist and prepper and did this mission and didn't turn this mission in? You know what I mean? Like how does it change? So several endings, interesting. And then it was even asked, would you be down? And they talked about microtransactions. And then Pestily was like, what, like, can I buy another character on my account? He was like, I have to log out, log into my hardcore, log into this, log into that. Like, what if I could just like buy another character on my account? And he was like, that's interesting. And he even talked about how like they might just give every account multiple characters. Like you could do a Yusek and a bear for your, you know what I mean? So I think that kind of stuff would be cool. All of that adds replayability in my opinion. Like a random person won't buy it. Like a normal person is not going to buy another account of the game to do a hardcore run. But if every account in the game was given one additional character slot, that person might try a hardcore run or just try a bear instead of a Yusek. Like, you know what I mean? So that would add a ton of replayability. Clans are still planned for DLC. I don't even know what that means. It was asked. But that was pushed. Unconscious State was pushed to after 1.0. He said they've done a lot of work on like animations for stuff like that, but it's just not important enough to like finish, which I kind of agree with.
Yeah.
Lock picking was pretty far along and that got pushed too. He was like, lock picking, he was like, we're done with the animations. Like we have it for everything, but it's just too big of a system to like smash into 1.0. He said that what they wanted to do was like a boss that was really well guarded by like tripwires and mines. And you actually had to like diffuse them. Like there were like animations and mini games on like diffusion and lock.
You gotta do a medium difficulty Sudoku 6 times before you get to fight the busted boss. When you have players that are creeping up behind you completely silent.
Yes, that's exactly it. The medium level Sudoku. Yeah. Solve
I remember, dude, when I was super into fucking lockpicking lawyer and I got into lockpicking and like learned how locks work and everything, I had like some ideas around like a little lockpicking sort of mini game. And I like pinged Nikita and whatever. You know what the funny thing is that like he kind of gave me the vibe like he didn't like you ever watch lockpicking lawyer?
Oh,
We were talking about.
Yeah.
I think like Nikita's like he teaches people how to break into shit. Like he's bad. Like he's
That's
a bad.
so funny.
Just like I mean you teach people how to shoot people,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
got him.
Talk to everybody on Reddit. They're all highly trained fucking operators now, right? From playing the game.
Yeah,
so.
100%.
Just like I'm going to be breaking into like Master Lock headquarters.
Yeah.
And,
Yep. That's actually hilarious. So lock picking, but man, that actually reminds me really quick. The reason that reminds me is because like, you know how there's like a lock picking skill in a game, but it's like been grayed out. They removed the memory skill from the game. Like it's gone from the game, which is interesting because it was one of the skills that worked and you actually needed memory level 8 to get the library, but it didn't do anything because like 8 years ago, what it did was it would actually lower your skills if you didn't play the game and stuff like that.
And I'm still convinced about how that was leveled up was like different than everybody said. And I was probably wrong, but like,
oh yeah, I don't know.
What would happen was if I ever like saw somebody like an enemy, and then like repositioned and then killed them, it was always a situation like that where it's like memory,
yeah.
Was it like I remembered the person was I'm like that can't be it.
Yeah, I don't know. They removed that and they removed recoil control from the game, which was super fascinating because I think the recoil control skill was as it leveled up, it was just a flat reduction to vertical recoil on guns. And it was one of those skills where it's like, why, dude? Because it's just like, if you're a Giga Chad with 200 million rubles and 80 hours a week to play, you also now just have less recoil on your guns. It was super weird. So they just took that out of the game. They didn't put that in the patch notes, but they took it out of the game. It reduced horizontal. Oh, that was right. Recoil control reduced horizontal recoil. And then it was the assault rifle skill reduces vertical on assault rifles and yada, yada, yada. Anyways, a few other interesting things. The Unity update still coming this year. He was pretty clear. He's like, this is not going to be like when we launched the Unity update, you have 180 frames on streets. He was like, this is, which we knew, but it's more tools, more bandwidth, better graphics stuff, better network stuff. It's going to like allow them to like work faster, do this, do X, do Y, and hopefully fix things faster. It's hard. The Unity thing has just become the copium of like all these, you know, the issues, the audio, and I'm there too, right? Like maybe they just can't work on the audio because they don't have the bandwidth in Unity, whatever. I'm there too, but he was kind of trying to be like, we're not going to drop that patch and it's going to fix everything. Like it just allows us to do stuff. They are going to add more clothes to microtransactions. Pest was just like, are you going to add more microtransactions and what are they going to be? And he was like, we're going to add more clothes, but we're not going to do anything like that. We're not going to sell rubles. We're not going to sell XP boosters or anything. We shall see. There will be a new version of Escape from Tarkov that will include the Gamma container. It's not going to be EOD. It's going to be a new version. And Nikita said it's going to be better than EOD. He didn't say how.
Wait, are you going to be able to purchase it?
Yeah. Yes, feel those feelings. Yeah. Yes.
Why did...
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
No comment. No comment.
Yeah. So there's going to be a new version. it's going to be better than EOD. And when Nice Guy asked him, will EOD owners be able to upgrade to that edition? Nikita said yes. And the only reason why I bring that up is because presumably that means it's more money than EOD was if you're going to have to upgrade your EOD account to that. Now, I don't really care, but a lot of people have pointed out really valid points on like EOD was the like, we're the early supporters. We're giving you $150 when your game runs like dog nuts, like to with 1.0 come out with a version that's just better than that in every way. Like there's no like symbol that you were here first, you know what I mean? Which a lot of games do. They pride themselves on like showing people like, oh yeah, we got here early. Like I've got this type of account or whatever. So very interesting. We don't know what better means, right? Presumably it could only mean like more starting gear, more money, more stash space, right? Because if you have EOD, you have all future DLCs forever. And why I thought they got rid of EOD was because they wanted to be able to monetize their DLCs in the future. So they like got rid of that. So are they going to put a new edition of the game that also includes all the DLCs? Are they going to put a new edition with double the stash space but doesn't include all the DLCs? He literally said it's going to have the Gamma, so it's not like you're going to start with a Kappa. So I don't know. It was very interesting. People were understandably frustrated, honestly. Like I'm just at a point where I'm so jaded I don't care. But I think the criticism was understandable. Yep. Brought up a lot. They talked a lot about cheating. Cheating is hard. It's hard to fix. Like Pest was basically like, it was like when you asked Mara, like, when is it? Like I have to ask, right? You know what I mean? He was like, what about mobile, like phone number authentication? And Nikita was like, we literally have that in like certain regions of the world right now. And he was like, it doesn't help at all. Cheaters just use eSIMs. Like it just doesn't help at all. He was saying Pest asked a lot about like certain things that are like server side versus client side. Like, would you be willing? And Nikita's response, once again, I don't know what knowledge Pestily has. I don't know what knowledge Nikita has. And I've got no knowledge. So I'm just going to tell you what he said. But he basically said a lot more than people think is server side. Like now, like hit detection or a lot more. And so it's not that simple as back in the day when it was like, yo, everything's client side, change that. He was saying cheaters a lot of times exploit Unity stuff, not just like their code or whatever, but like that's a part of it. Pest asked, are you ever, and once again, don't shoot the messenger. I don't know what this means. Pest asked, are you, or would you ever be down for more invasive anti-cheats? And Nikita was like, he was like, yeah, maybe. He was like, he's like, we've tested that. The thing I don't like is that the solution that we've used, like a really invasive solution or whatever, like hugely dips FPS. And our game, he didn't say this, but the game already runs like dog. You know what I mean? So he's like, that's the big thing that I'm concerned about. And Pestily was basically like, do it. Pest was like, the number one reason people leave this game is cheaters. So do it. We'll take the frames. But I don't know. He didn't say what that invasive thing is. You know, we're bringing Vanguard to Tarkov. Like, you know, I don't know. Everybody has their own.
So there's two things that I'll say to that. One, it already has an more invasive anti-cheat than
you
people
think.
Realize. Yeah. It for all intents and purposes, it does what Vanguard does. It just doesn't run at startup.
Yes.
So it's effectively, if you're like an InfoSec dev, don't tweet at me. We can have a conversation offline.
Yeah.
Not to the masses, but for all intents and purposes, it is the same as Vanguard, the same level of shit, but just at a different time.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of access, which the reason why people stress out about invasiveness, it's a large part of it is that it's exploitable by like third-party software that could like use it as a backdoor.
Yes.
In which case it's no different than Vanguard in that regard.
Yeah.
It still has the same conceptual exploitative issue. The only difference being the major difference being that it's running effectively when you're not playing the game.
Vanguard
which isn't trivial, but at the same time it's also like people aren't that's not why people are upset about it.
So I see what you mean.
That's half of the argument, or the discussion. The other half of it being, and this is something I still need to go and watch the whole Pirate Software video that he did on this. But his opinion is basically like invasive anti-cheat isn't even the answer.
I remember. Yeah, I haven't seen that video yet, but I've seen some clips from it, and I remember that too.
Because so far he's never had an L take. He's one of those guys that, you know, I'm sure like he'll get canceled 3 months from now. That's how the internet works. But like as of right now, he has never had an L take. So
and just anecdotally, like it doesn't have to. Yeah, like, you know, we talk about this all the time. I don't have to sign my soul to somebody's opinion, but anecdotally, a guy that has worked as a software developer, a hacker, and in anti-cheat.
Yep.
I'm just going to naturally put more stock in their opinion. It doesn't mean I've signed my life to it, but it's like, I've never done any of those things. So my opinion on anti-cheat is probably a lot less informed than his. So if he's like, hey, the invasive stuff isn't as necessary as people think it is, I'd be interested to hear his take on it. You know what I mean? Because I don't know anything. Now, the only other really like cheating thing that was mentioned was actually a few other things. Nikita, like apparently there's like information about this all over the place, but I don't know. There's like BIOS settings that can be changed that are like really effective at cutting off of like really common ways people cheat. But God, I'm such a bad person to do this, but like,
is that Windows 11 specific?
Yeah, but exactly. He was like, it basically alienates a lot of people because you need certain like hardware and or software in order to enable those settings. But those settings are incredibly hard to get past from a cheating perspective. So he was like, we've thought about like creating like media to teach people how to do it. But then the people that can't do it, he was saying that's like, Nikita was once again acknowledging like that stuff is out there and it really does help, but it's not like we can't just flip the lights on for everybody and then that solution is here tomorrow and we have a cheat-free game. So classically, the conversation is it's more complicated than you think it is and we're trying our best. You can believe or not believe that. I don't care. That's just what the conversation was. He talked about the kill cam thing again, and because obviously people wanted, like, that was a question that was asked a lot, so Pestily asked. And basically Nikita was like, yeah, sure, it's possible, but it's like not like don't expect it, like literally ever, or if not anytime soon. Because he was like the amount of work that would have to go into like where are the raids stored, how long are they stored, you know what I mean, like just all this kind of stuff, which makes sense. I get it. Like I get why people are so passionate about it. I would love it. As we've talked about before, I don't think it would be, you know, the second coming of Christ for anti-cheat. But I do think it would be sick for machinima and for learning how you died and learning the game. And if it helped with cheating along the way, boom, chef's kiss. But that's a tremendous amount of data to store. The entire raid from 15 people's perspectives. Do you get your scav raids in there as well? Where are they stored? How long are they stored? How do you get access to them? Do you have to download them? Yeah, Fortnite does it. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. So don't expect that anytime soon is the TLDR. And then Pest asked about like compensation, because like games like The Cycle did that, right? If a cheater got banned and you ever died to him, you got all your stuff back. And Pest was like, even if it like wasn't your stuff, even if it was just like if you ever died to that person, you got 100,000 rubles or something like that. And Nikita was like, kind of like, because at first they were talking about it through the lens of if you report a guy and they get banned, you get the compensation. But then Nikita's like, everyone's just going to report everybody. Because then if a guy gets banned, everybody gets the money. So that conversation didn't last long.
Yeah, they should make it so that it costs 50,000 rubles or 100,000 rubles to report somebody.
Oh, shoot.
but you get $1 million back. So it's like you have to have like a 10-to-1 ratio, otherwise you'll lose money or something.
Crazy. But that's the thing though, is like doing that through the report system is a terrible idea anyway. Like the Cycle Frontier had it, and it wasn't through the report system. It was like their database. Like they could just look at a person's account and say, these are all the people he's killed. We're going to give them like that stuff back. So I think something like that would be cool. I just don't think it should be done through if you reported them or not. I think it just should be done of this account is this old and killed this many people this wipe, and each one of those people gets 100,000 rubles in the mail. That's how I think it should be done. Now, I don't know the technical side of that, but yeah, it shouldn't be done through the report system. It would just increase reporting. I wish they talked about this more because I felt like Nikita didn't understand it. Pestily was like, camera recoil, like camera shake, aim punch, and blur. It's all too much and everybody hates it. Would you be willing to tone that down? And Nikita was like, we'll have to look at it. It's all way too low as it stands. And I was like, what? Like, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's not too low. It's not too low. I promise you, whatever you think, it's not too low. Like, I wanted to marathon sprint into my monitor in hopes that I could like transport to where Nikita was. Like, it's not too low. Holy Christ.
Game too easy.
And then
we want to fuck you.
And then he was like, he basically said, he was like, it'll look weird if we didn't have any of that stuff. And then they moved on. And once again, I was like, we can have it, but like, it just doesn't
look weird. What do you mean?
I don't know. This is what I'm talking about. We gotta fly through this stuff. USA, Jesse. Like, this is what I was talking about. Yeah, he said this. That's a good point. He said the same thing about recoil back in the day when we were begging for them to change recoil, and he was like, no, it would look weird if the guns had less recoil. And then he finally came around to doing it, and the game is better in every meaningful way. But I beg of you, if you listen to this, to turn down the aim punch. It's unbelievable. Okay, last terrible thing, and then we'll move on. Remember when, in the beginning, he said, if it's a big enough issue, we hear you. Like, we see it. Okay? Okay.
You know, one of my questions to Mara.
Yeah.
When was this Pestily thing?
Like 3 days ago.
After?
Oh, yeah, it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, though, but it just got posted.
Okay, so one of my questions to Mara was effectively, like, how are you going to make sure you don't completely drop the fucking ball when it comes to communicating with the community to get a pulse for what it's like for the different, people? And it was me thinking in my head, like, let's try to avoid the problem that we've had historically in Tarkov, which is somehow Nikita ends up being like, wait, what? That's a thing? When that's all anybody on Twitch and Reddit talks about for 3 years.
Yeah. And so you know exactly where this is going. Earlier in this conversation, Nikita said, if it's a big enough deal, we hear you. Pestily asked about the crouch walking. And Nikita said, that's still in the game? I thought we fixed that bug a few patches ago. Which is crazy because, it's literally one of the most talked about issues. And I'm not even saying it's the most complained about issues because it's also an issue that a bunch of people defend. It's the most argued about issue. It's everywhere. It's on Twitter. It's on Reddit. It's in every single person's Twitch stream. And 30 minutes ago, you said, if it's a big enough issue, we hear you. And you did it. Now, here's the really important thing, because I know people's be in the comments ready right now, okay? Saying Nikita's the CEO. Of course, he's not going to know every single bug, which is a super valid point, okay? It's a super good point. Of course he's not going to know every single bug in every single build of the game. But this bug has been in the game for 9 months, okay? It's been one of the most talked about things in the game for 9 months. He literally just said, if it's a big issue, we hear you, and then didn't know the bug was still in the game. And additionally, what started floating around was apparently one of the devs, like one of the community manager guys, was telling people that it was an intended mechanic per Nikita. And Nikita said, we didn't fix that bug? So, sure, Nikita won't know every single bug in the game. But these puzzle pieces don't add up, dude. You know what I mean?
Left hand talking to the right hand, or no?
100%. 100%. Nikita says it's a bug and thought that it was addressed. It's never been addressed. Other BSG employees are saying it's unintended mechanic. Like, sure, of course, Nikita's not going to know every bug, but that is not a good look. Even though Nikita won't know every bug. Okay? So, yikers. Also, yeah, nobody knew if it was intended until on this thing, Nikita said, oh, we didn't fix that? Like, until he said those words, nobody knew if it was an intended mechanic or not. And then immediately after that, Pestily was like, I feel like since you guys adjusted the range on the headsets and made them all hear farther away, like a lot of people really don't like that change. And I feel like that's caused a lot of problems. And Nikita was like, he said something to the effect of like, no, it's not you hear farther. It's like the compression and it sounds different. And Pestily was like, no, you hear farther. Like everybody's done testing on this. Pestily was like, please look into that. And then it just kind of like, they just kind of moved on. But like, once again, one of the most talked about things is like how busted Comtac 4s are, because it's been pretty consistently tested by multiple different people that you can hear to about 140 meters away with those versus other headsets are like half of that. They're 380,000 rubles on the flea market because of that reason. And it felt like Nikita didn't even know that was a mechanic in the game. Now, once again, I could have misinterpreted what Nikita said. Nikita and him could have talked about this offline. But it felt like if Nikita did know when he was like, yeah, they hear too far away and people don't like that, Nikita would have been like, interesting, we kind of like it. Like if he said, yeah, I know, but we like it, that would be one thing. But like, it just didn't feel like he knew that existed. And that made me sad in my heart.
Okay. So a couple questions. I'm just asking questions, Chad. I'm just asking questions. What about Building 7, Nikita? Just asking questions. When we were talking about being able to hear farther, did people... That's one of those things that to me is like, did they test before? Did we know there was a change coming, so we had like a baseline? Because you can't go back a version to test, right?
That is true, and that is fair. I don't know. Okay. Maybe somebody did. Like, I can't say definitively yes or no, because I don't remember exactly what patch it was changed in. I know it was like in the past year or so.
Because not defending Nikita,
no,
but defending the audio overlords that actually understand sound.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust anybody to do proper testing.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though.
I don't know what there could have been multiple factors, right? Like imagine a world where they made a bunch of audio changes and changed the headphones. So really the headphones, it could be that the headphones make it so that you hear not as far, but then they made another change to the audio where the occlusion is like 10% of what it used to be. So now you hear further because of that. So,
and here's the thing, though.
I don't know.
And that is super fair. I don't know that anyone did that, But not to move the goalpost, but the core of the issue isn't I can now hear farther away than I used to. The core of the issue is everybody agrees you can hear too far away.
Mm-hmm.
So whether...
Not to mention they all just sound bad.
Yeah, so whether it was increased or not, the core of the issue is twofold. You can hear too far away, and you can hear much farther with certain headphones. And those things we can test. Like 100 people have done YouTube videos where they have a rangefinder and they do no headphones. They put on contact force and they do no headphones and they put on Sordens and they repeat the test a bunch of times and they average it all out to like with contact force, you can hear somebody walking at this distance, running at this distance. Like we have all that data. Multiple people have done it. And it's consistent that the range, like the difference in range between contact fours and some of the other ones is way too much of a difference. Like hearing shouldn't be an RPG mechanic, right? You know what I mean? Like imagine how crazy it would be if like the higher your PMC skill, the farther away the fog would render, like the fog of war. Like that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. So the core of the issue is that like at the top end, it's way too far away. And the delta between the top and the low end, when we talk about how far away you can hear, that delta is also too big. But that is a very fair question to say if we're talking about them increasing the ranges. I don't know if we have proper testing to show the range was increased or significantly.
For all we know, this problem has been in the game for since Contact 4s were introduced.
Yeah.
And everybody just... there's attention on it, so a content creator decides to make a video.
Correct.
They do some testing, whether the testing's good or not, whatever.
Could have been that. But either way, I think like I personally think that, none of the headphones should change how far away you can hear. They should all just basically be like different EQ. You know what I mean? Like that, like I played DayZ and it was just like so nice to not have to worry about like spending money in game on the ability to hear.
Yep.
Like hearing is just a thing we all get.
Somebody,
sick.
Y'all need to send me some clips of the pop. I need to hear this audio pop. I still haven't heard it. I still have no idea what it sounds like.
Yeah, I need the Kazam fam to hop on. I play the game enough that like in the next 7 days, I could probably produce 10, 15 clips. I just need to remember to freaking clip it. You know what I mean? Like, but the binaural pop, he asked about that. They're aware of it and they're looking into it. So, man, so many audio things, but that's all the sad things. Moving on. Actually, I don't even know what were the other things. They're also aware of the packet loss exploit, and they're working on that. What ended up happening was a lot of it became Pestily was just like a lot of it became basically Pestily being like the community wants this, and then Nikita would take a note. So like not everything got like a full, because the video would have been 8 hours long and I just don't think Nikita actually gave a response to everything. So it was less of like, Nikita, what do you think about this? And more Pestily using this as an opportunity to be like, hey, I sifted through 9,000 questions. Here are like themes that the community is interested in. So like what was brought up is like player scav spawned too damn early. Stop letting that happen. And Nikita just like, so we didn't get like from him, like whether he agrees or whether they can implement that. But Pest was like, a lot of people think player scavs spawn in too damn early. So I don't know. He talked about this he talked about scav detection and like scavs can see you through bushes and stuff like that and how hard that is to code because like we can like see through the bushes and through the leaves, but like their rays or whatever, it's hard to do. And he said something in there, dude. He was like, and then if we make a change, all of you guys are going to complain that the AI is too dumb. And I was like, dude, no, we won't. Like 7 people will, but no, we won't. I promise you, dude.
I still remember. There's somewhere when we talked to Nikita,
dude.
There's somewhere where I told Nikita, I'm like, Nikita. Actually, it might have been when we had. Oh, you know what? It was either when we talked to him here or when I interviewed him about the AI.
Yeah.
Because I did the AI video and then I did the like hour-long interview with him.
Yep.
Where I was like, bro, if you're gonna make any quick just err on the side of making them dumb. Nobody will care. It'll be better. It's better when they're dumb. The PvP is cancerous enough to where the bots should just be easy, bro.
Yep.
Please.
Dude, it's one of those things. I'm like, I would bet my life savings, if you put a poll out and says, should the AI be easier? You would have 50,000 people that would fight to the death saying, no, they shouldn't be easier. They shouldn't be easier. It's a hardcore game. If you just made the change without doing that poll, 7 people would have a problem with it. Like, I believe so heavily that exactly right. The PvP is so cancerous already. You get into so much PvP with player scavs that like nobody would care if you could shoot the freaking hobos with 77 MOA guns. You know what I mean? Like nobody minds that, dude. I did a whole shoreline raid the other day, bro. I did a whole shoreline raid. I killed everybody. I was looted up. I was on my way back to Red Rebel. It was a foggy, rainy day. I literally couldn't even see the rock that Sniper Scav lives on. I took a nap. I got one-tapped by Sniper Scav. Far enough away that I couldn't hear him yell or agwar me. I was just running to the extract and I fell over. And it was just an AI Scav, Sniper Scav. And I was like,
they
what?
should be sitting there with a beer.
Yeah,
and a
dude.
cigarette.
If you have 7 hours a week to play this game and you're one juicer raid, you finally kill people. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter to me because I have 200 million rubles. But like, if you had a juicer raid, it was the raid of your life, and you're running to extract and you just take a nap to Sniper Scav, like that's toxic, dude. So yeah, so I don't know. I wish they would err on the side of stupid scavs. He talked about the visual overhaul that's coming. That's coming this year. They're doing like a big visual overhaul. And he said specifically lighting and fog, this visual overhaul, they've been talking about this for like years, by the way. I remember like a year and a half ago in one of the Tarkov TVs, I remember it really specifically because like they were like, we're working on a graphical overhaul. And Nikita was like, I don't know how I like it. Like the game looks so different. Like I remember him saying that. So they've been working on this graphical overhaul for forever. And in it, he talked about how they're basically, because Pestily brought up the lighting, how it's still kind of borked, and the fog, and how the fog is just like awful. It just like brings down the game. Unless it's like raining. Like the fog we have in Tarkov would be cool 4% of the time when it's like a weather event.
If it was like big thunderstorm and
But like literally bright sunny day, and I've got a 12x magnified optic, and I can't see somebody 100 meters away. Like that's crazy. And so he said like it's going to be basically a whole new way that they render fog. So like that could be sick. They're going to be adding a ton more things to the hideout. Pest is a legend. He shouted me out. He posted the question on Twitter. He was like, give me your questions for Nikita. And I saw that, and in that moment, I was like, I can do one of two things here. I can respond something super witty and move on with my day, or I can write a dissertation here. Like, you know what I mean? And so I decided, I just typed, when pizza oven in hideout Lamau, and I just like responded. And then he was like asking about the hideout, and he was like, JesseKazam wants a pizza oven. And then the camera went to Nikita, and he was like, and then Pestily just moved on. But I was like, legend.
Oh my god, that's pretty funny.
I was like, legend. Thank you, bro. It was great. Hideout. Talked about this was once again not a whole lot of feedback from Nikita, but he was like, spawns suck, extracts, a lot of maps could use more extracts, player count changes. He pitched, he was like, dude, a lot of people think just 10 or 15% less PMCs on a map could be helpful. Bunch of like quality of life stuff that we knew was coming, like pinning cases and stuff. They talked about some of their events, future plans. Oh, the API, the app. Like he said that they like fleshed out like an app, and they're considering waiting and launching that with 1.0, where you can like manage your crafts and look at your stash and do some stuff.
Said they fleshed out.
Yeah, he said they like worked on it. So
okay, because using the word fleshed out is like
he made it seem
there's a Google Doc somewhere that they've.
It made it seem like they were pretty much done with it, and then they decided they wanted to wait to launch it with 1.0. That's kind of how I interpreted it. But once again, I only watched this once. They talked a little bit about just like the technical limitations that they're up against with like the engine, and he literally, I mean, Nikita talked about, like, he was like, if we had known the game we were going to be making now when we started making the game, like, we should have done a lot of things differently. Like, we are still, like, Pestily asked, like, what are some of the limitations you face? And Nikita was just like, our own code. Like, it's just really hard to get it all working. He was talking about how they like optimize streets like by hand. He was like, we're still just like working on doing it. Like, we can't like just press a button and streets is optimized. We can't just like plug it into Unity and you have 400 frames on streets. So
yeah,
at least he's being honest. We kind of knew that, right? But like, at least he's being honest about it and being like, we are limited and we're killing ourselves trying to get it done. So that was it. Some interesting stuff. Mostly just interesting about like some of the 1.0 stuff, the EOD stuff, the prestige, like that stuff is fascinating to me. Because once again, we just had that conversation, so this is top of mind for me. The replayability, prestige, persistent characters, seasonal characters, all that kind of stuff would add so much like love and fun and replayability to the game. Now, I still maintain that all of the replayability in the world, all the cool guns in the world, all the hideout apps in the world, all that kind of stuff on shitty netcode and shitty audio will mean nobody wants to play your game 6 months into a wipe. I still believe that. But if they lock some of that down as a result of the Unity stuff and as a result of, like, once again, per Nikita's words, creating a polished experience for 1.0, which is why they're cutting a lot of stuff, then we're talking. But that's just a big old, we're going to have to wait and see. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Indeed.
So that was that. Arena got a few new things. It got the new map, the streets block. It's called Block, City Block. You see they took away all tier 1 kits. Tier 1 kits don't exist in Arena anymore.
I mean, like, fine.
I know. And that was literally everybody's response. Everybody was like, do you think that that's going to bring us back?
Like here's the thing.
Yeah.
So wait, now they have this massively annoyingly complex system with just 2 tiers?
The more you think about it, the less it makes sense. So just don't worry about it.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh, dude. And
here's the thing, like, the game sucks less actually without the tier 1.
Yeah.
Because the shit that is like the most frustrating part of the grind was being stuck on the worst kits.
Yeah.
So at least you're stuck on less bad kits.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's less bad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just had the potential to be an interesting, decent system. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I hate to say, like, there's an infinite number of roads to success.
Yeah.
But like, the one that I proposed wasn't mega complicated, and I think was just infinitely better than what any of the versions we've had.
And then, bro, they've been doing this thing. They've been doing this contest where, like, they're like, build a kit that you'd like to see in Arena and submit them, and we're going to choose a winner and we're going to add it to Arena. So like a bunch of people, it's just been, a fun submit thing. They took away the tier 1 kits, and then they added the first like kit as a result of like suggestions from the community.
Oh no.
And dude, it's the penis helmet, GSSHs, which are the worst headphones. Remember the old Meta Zuck Class 6 green armor? It's that, but with no plates. So it's just a level 3 armor. An SVT with 15 round mags and an APB pistol. I was like,
Dude, bro, this is like...
Dude. I was like, that's crazy that's the one you chose as the winner.
Bro, that was the Bodie McBoatface of... Do you remember that?
No.
When there was an online poll hosted by the UK's science ministry to choose the name for this polar research vessel.
Oh, and it was Bodie McBoatface?
And led it up to the internet, right? And Bodie McBoatface was the one that won. And it's either they were like, yes, thank you for your submissions. And then they literally went, oh man, I don't have any. I was going to crumple up paper audibly and throw it in the trash can.
Yeah.
But I had no paper nearby. Oh, wait. Yes. Thank you for submission.
Yeah.
Right. And then implemented their own. Or somebody made that as a fucking troll and they were like, yes, good.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because this wasn't voted on by the community, that's what I'm saying is that like they probably sifted through 100,000 actual cool presets that would be fun to use in Arena, and they selected that one. Like, it's just the most... Once again, like I definitely don't want to go down the rabbit hole of like being a dick to the devs about Arena again, because I feel like I have been. But like it just shows they don't understand what people want to do in Arena. You guys promised us an Arena shooter in a game with the most advanced and like coolest real life current day military gear. And you said we're taking that to an Arena shooter. And this is like, nobody wants the best armor in the game without the plates. It's just a P.A.K.A. at that point. It's just a bunch of class 3 airmen. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, the AVT is the most contentious, controversial gun in the game.
Oh, the AVT, not the SVT?
It was the SVT, so it's the semi-auto version.
Okay.
But it's still, like, it just, nobody wants to boot up Arena to play that kit. It's either people that don't ever get to use meta stuff that would love to use meta stuff, or people that use meta stuff because this stuff is garbage. So why would they go play a game where they can't use meta stuff? Nobody wants to boot up Arena to use this. So I don't know. I was just like, I saw that and I could not help but be like, God damn. Like they just don't get it. And Nikita talked about Arena a little bit in the interview that basically they're like just trying to absorb feedback and like change things. And once again, I do kind of feel bad because they really put a lot of eggs in the Arena basket. They were really hoping that it was going to be good, and so were we, but it's just like, I don't know. It just seems like they just don't understand what people want to do when they boot up Arena, and they keep just saying, hey, we added more stuff, and it's the exact opposite of what you want to do in this video game. Like,
they're either like so just painfully out of touch, or it's somehow, see, here's the thing is that like I want to say it's somehow harder than we think, and of course that's going to be like the, well, of course, duh, you know, like people are gonna, but I've personally spent enough time thinking about this, talking to the community for years and years, that I'm like, I actually don't think it's way harder than we think.
Yeah. I agree.
But you know what? Maybe there's a world in which I would be humbled, where I would go implement the changes I wanted. Everybody would hate it. Yeah. And then I would be like, okay, well, I guess, you know, although the thing is that whenever Nikita makes the changes that I propose, they're universally fucking loved by everyone. Not obviously not universally everyone, but the recoil, like all of the things that like.
But Veritas' social score was as high as it's ever been after that recoil video. You know what I mean? Everybody was like, yep. So.
And I wasn't fucking saying the obvious shit that everybody was saying.
Yeah.
I was doing that in the face of all of the content creators telling me that I was like copium. Yeah. That the recoil's fine, bro. All the fucking big content creators had this mindset that the recoil's fine as it is, dude. I don't mind. You know, it would be too laser beamy. So I did that in the face of all of the fucking negative feedback from content creators.
Yeah.
And I think it was
success.
I think that was in touch.
Great success. So that's the arena stuff. It's an oofer.
I don't envy them. I feel bad.
I do too. I genuinely do. I genuinely do. We got to talk with all those guys at TwitchCon, man, and they were so psyched, and we were so psyched. Like everybody was so psyched for arena. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I love those guys, and I really feel bad, but that doesn't compel me to like pretend that the game is fun, right? You know what I mean? It's like, that's where I'm at. It's like, I really do feel bad. I really wanted them to succeed. I really wanted the copium to come true. I wanted this to like contend with esports and like take a part of the market share. I really did. And I really do. And I think if No Man's Sky has showed us that no game is unrecoverable. You know what I mean? So best of luck as we move forward. But yeah, I just think, oof. Okay, so that's all the Tarkov stuff. We got the patch, we got the interview with Nikita, and we got some interesting arena stuff. Dude, just today, moving on, just today, they announced that the next Gray Zone Warfare playtest will be happening on the 18th, which is 1 week from today. And we get to play it, and it's not under NDA. It is a closed test. And it is streamer privilege. Get wrecked. I don't know what to say. I get it. You all want to play it. I'm going to say this once so that I never have to say it again. Like, I believe every creator is getting 4 additional codes to give away to their friends. So technically,
$1,000 on eBay, everybody. Yeah. I'll put my email in the fucking description.
So technically, there will be more non-streamers than streamers, because all the streamers are getting the codes.
Well, I mean,
not all.
You know that it's the big streamers are just going to invite their littler streamer friends.
True. But hey, I don't know. Anyways, here's the thing, though, is that it makes never mind. I don't even know. I don't even care. Screw you. Whatever. I don't know. They're doing it. I don't even know when to do it. They're doing a test. If they release the game to everybody and their server infrastructure fell apart, you'd be pissed that they didn't test the game more. They're testing the game with I don't know how many VIPs there are, but each of them are getting 4 codes. So there's presumably going to be like 1,000 people playing. They're testing the servers. They're testing the build. It's probably going to be buggy. We're probably going to find a bunch of things. They're testing it at scale. This is what's happening. Hopefully that'll create a good experience. And you know what's awesome too? Like, I know maybe it's like reverse copium because, you know, I'm just in a privileged position where I get a key, but like right now you can't buy the game. So like, how many games, like, they can't currently, and they might put the game up for sale, but they can't currently hoodwink anybody into buying the game. Like, you can't buy into access, and 200 content creators that will gladly shit on the game if it's bad are going to play the game for a week. So like, if it sucks, you saved your money. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
So yeah, whatever. It just is what it is. I'm preparing for the, you know, streamer privilege argument, whatever, but I'm so excited. This also definitely means that early access is pretty close if they're doing this. It's not going to be right after, but and also the streamers aren't going to end up getting ahead. They're going to literally, they say everybody that's playing, their accounts get reset whenever it goes early access. So it's basically a big play test, stress test that's not NDA'd. And it's going to be 7 days, and it starts next week. And I'm very excited. So
Are we gonna play some? We're gonna play a little
oh,
bit.
100%, dude. You said you're out of town next week. Did you get back Friday or Thursday?
I get back like Thursday night.
Okay. I mean, I'm probably
When does it start?
Thursday.
Oh, okay, so maybe Friday.
Yeah. I am, unless they day before us, which I doubt is going to happen, I'm probably going to be on like 12 to 18 hours a day through the entire playtest. So like, you hit me up, dude. I'll be on.
Word. Yeah, I'm going to be in Utah. Going to Utah for the first time ever.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Get some of that, like, that Mormon soda. Isn't that like a thing?
What the fuck?
Wait, you don't know?
What? Mormon soda?
Sorry.
You fucking what, mate?
Okay.
I know they have like special underwear. That's all I know about. That's all I know about them.
Okay.
The Holy Coke.
Okay. I'm pretty sure. Isn't Utah where it's like mostly Mormon? Like, I really don't mean this negatively. Like, I think that's the state where like there's a lot of Mormons. Oh my God, you can try soaking. Jesus Christ.
I think I know what that is.
Okay, I was about to say, do you know what soaking is?
I think I learned that from Letterkenny, maybe.
Yeah. Anyways, you can't have caffeine if you're no. You can't have coffee if you're Mormon. Like, it's,
But you can have 14-year-olds.
Yikes. Okay, I didn't say that. Whoa!
Sorry, that was a Joseph Smith.
Oh my God, bro.
Okay, sorry.
This
Sorry,
went
that
off
was
the rail.
That was a Joseph Smith joke. Listen, I'm sorry.
Yo, we found our intro, dude. No, I'm just kidding. You can't have. They're anti-caffeine, but for some reason, like the bylaws are weird, where you can't have coffee, but you can have soda. So like nobody in Utah drinks coffee, and as a result of that, the whole state is filled with like boutique soda shops where like you can go get a Dr. Pepper with like 3 pumps of creamer and 8 pumps of sugar and like a half a Red Bull in it. Like, they just go crazy with soda. It's like a thing. Like they're so like they go crazy with soda. Like they you can get anything you've ever wanted in soda, and it's like every street corner has like a soda shop because they don't do coffee. I mean, think about how many coffee shops. Like, if you're near a trendy city, like, holy cow, think about how many trendy, like every single one of those is just a soda shop in Utah.
Fuck. So wait, that means I'm not gonna be able to get coffee while I'm out there?
You will, but there's not gonna be nearly as many coffee shops. Isn't that interesting?
Huh.
Anyways,
More you know.
So that's the Mormon soda. that was such a perfect thing to like catch you off guard with. That was so funny. Oh my God. The only other thing, since we were talking about content earlier, I was going to ask if you've seen it, but if you're watching all this other stuff, you probably haven't. But the Fallout TV show just launched.
I heard. I saw it. I showed the trailer to my wife, and I was like, "Does this look like a female protagonist?" I'm like, "Does this look like something?" Because she loves like the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I could tap into that. Maybe she'll. So I'm hoping maybe we'll watch it tonight.
Yeah. It Have you seen the trailer for like the Borderlands movie?
No, I never was really into Borderlands.
Looks awful. And the trailer for that movie is pretty much what I think about every time I hear anyone doing a video game adaptation of anything. Like, The Last of Us was kind of its own thing because The Last of Us played like a movie, the video game, and the TV show was written and directed by the guy that wrote and directed the game. So like we all kind of knew that was going to be good. But largely, like, I just feel like Halo and like just all this video game stuff is just, it's just not good. And so
when I heard my wife's aunt, who is like as far enough away from video games ever, talking at Easter about like, oh, it was one, talking about TV shows, and she's like, and Halo, and I was like,
Yeah.
Halo? And she's like, yeah, it's like this kind of sci-fi. And I'm like,
yikes.
Now I know it's not a good show.
Yeah. Now, I haven't seen Halo. All I'm saying is that kind of stuff doesn't normally do it for me unless it's a very story-driven thing. And then I saw the trailer for Fallout 76, for the Fallout series, and it really didn't change that perception. And then I watched the pilot last night, and I was like, damn, this is dope. So my expectations were really low going into it, and I watched 2 episodes last night, and I was like, impressed. I was impressed. Okay. I was impressed at how they were able to kind of do everything. They were able to, the tone of the show is way more serious than I thought it would be, while maintaining the like really silly nature of Fallout. Like Fallout's a goofy series, the bobbleheads and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then it also explores themes of like, do you nuke the civilization? You know what I mean?
It's like a whimsical post-apocalyptic
that with really like dark and real
the
themes.
Comedic irony of the world ended. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the tone was a lot more serious than I thought, while maintaining the like really whimsical, fun nature that is Fallout. The writing is stronger than I thought it would be. The acting
I got major Westworld vibes.
Oh, Westworld.
From it.
Yeah, I'm so conflicted. Season 1 of Westworld is like top 10 seasons of TV ever. And season 3 is like top 10 worst.
I fell off with that.
So bad.
Is it the same people?
I got
one of them. Vibe.
One of them is actually a producer.
There's like the one dude with like the nose cut off kind of thing. He's like, gave me the same vibe as the character.
Yeah, okay. I actually don't know. I don't think he acted in it. I'm saying like one of the producers of Westworld is actually produced.
No, I know, but usually those guys have the same fucking actors in all the things.
True. Yeah. So the first 2 episodes of Fallout were good. Now, once again, if you went in with crazy high expectations, it might not meet them. I went in with really low expectations and was pleasantly surprised. Like, I'm super excited to get through the other 6 episodes. So yeah, definitely recommend. And here's what I think though. Here's why I think Fallout is perfect for that. I think it's almost always a bad idea, once again, unless your game is The Last of Us, which was an incredibly linear game. Like, did you ever play that game?
The Last of Us, no.
Yeah. I mean, The Last of Us was basically just like a movie in game form. Like, it was very linear, but it was a masterpiece. Like, it was a...
You can only play with it on PlayStation,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I never played it.
It was a perfectly crafted story. The original game was so good. But most other games like Halo, right? Or like Fallout or like Borderlands, when they make adaptations about those games and then they make the adaptations about the actual characters, it's always destined to fail. Because what's your perception of that side character? And if the actor brings something different to it, you won't be able to celebrate that they've taken a different take because you feel like it's a betrayal. If in the movie or in the TV show, the character does something you wouldn't have done in the game, like in Skyrim, some of us played like villains, some of us played like heroes. So to make a movie about that and then actually author it, a lot of people are like, well, that's not how I played. So Fallout is perfect.
Or like taking the helmet off and showing us Master Chief's face.
What a betrayal. Like, a lot of people hated that. Some people liked it, but a lot of people hated that. What I love about this is let's just tell a cool story in this world. No characters are from the games. It's just a different vault and a different person. And that's what makes it great. Because we're not looking at it through that lens of like, oh, that's not how it was in the game, or that's not what I would do in the game. The whole point is that, like, this is a story that's happening on this universe, in this lore that's been set up by the games. And that's why I think they are able to kind of like just get away with doing whatever they want. So pretty good so far. Pretty good.
I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah.
I'll probably do that right now. Yesterday was the first time in a long time I like woke up. It was like 6 a.m. and I'm like, I didn't feel like I slept. Like, what?
Oh.
I normally don't have problems sleeping, but last night was just like I didn't feel like I slept at all.
That's
so I'm
brutal.
like, I'm like fading.
Yeah.
I've been using it the whole time. I'm like,
dude, I feel you. But yeah, so that is the stuff. That is the Tarkov and gaming and content news. We are sorry. If you want more content like this, you can go to patreon.com/thepodcastpod. We are sorry there was no episode this week. Scheduling conflicts didn't make it happen, but we're trying to make sure that happens the least amount as possible. But if you want more conversations about more things and early access to these, early access ad-free to these episodes, you can go to patreon.com/thepodcastpod. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys for hanging. As always, we appreciate you, and we will definitely see y'all on the next.
peace.